president's report.
We have another TDA issue that I want to recognize. Sherry Johnson, she's our manager of rates. As you know, we've been having conversations and dialogue with TDA about how they charge for the wholesale rates. They have come up with a new approach, and this is a heads up to give you that information.
Well, good afternoon, Commissioners. Today, I do want to talk to you about an upcoming TVA wholesale rate change. Today, KUB pays TVA under a wholesale structure that we refer to as end use. In the future, we will be paying TVA under a new wholesale structure, which is called the demand energy structure. Why is TVA changing their rate structure? Well, I think TVA has several reasons, but a key reason is because peak demand is growing in the valley, and the peak demand is growing at a faster rate than the overall energy consumption is. So TVA needs to address this peak demand. There are a couple of things they can do. One is they can build more capacity. They can add generation to their system. But another thing that they can do is they can work to reduce that peak demand. And as Mr. Medford just mentioned, a new program, it's new to us. TVA has established several rate programs for the largest customers to encourage them to shift their usage from on-peak times or seasons to off-peak times. So they have been working on this goal. Now they are bringing to us a wholesale rate change that will be another step in that direction. And they have proposed that this rate change will go into effect in April of this year. A key point to keep in mind is that this rate change is not a rate increase. It is not designed to increase TVA's overall revenue, and nor will it increase KUB's, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. One aspect of it is that it will introduce some cash flow risk to distributors. But I would point out that this type of rate structure is the standard within the industry. End use is not normal from a national perspective. So for several years, TVA put end use into place in 1992. So during that period of time, we have been somewhat shielded from this aspect. Now we will be, if you will, returning to normal. Because our rates have been essentially mirror images of the wholesale rate structure, we will no longer be able to do that under this new demand energy structure. So it is going to require KUB to look at our retail rates and to adjust how we recover that cost. And as you all, I think, are aware, TVA has talked for many years about time of use and those type of rates, and this is an initial step for them in that direction. As I've already mentioned, the demand energy rate structure is the standard within the industry. And it actually is a little more simple than what we're doing today from a purchasing standpoint. Each month, we will begin to pay TVA for the total kilowatt hours that flow through our in-feed station. We currently do that today, but today we have to separate those by customer class. In the future, we will not be separating those by customer class. And then we will also have on our invoice from TVA a demand charge. So the peak demand that the KUB system as a whole sets for that month, we will be billed based on that peak demand. So what this structure enables TVA to do in charging for that peak demand is to encourage distributors to manage the peak demand on their systems. One nuance to this, the largest customers, their loads will be pulled out from this calculation and shown separately on the bill. This is because of those special rate programs. Our largest customers right now are already paying seasonal rates. Some of them have also elected time of use rates, so we do need to pull those out and calculate them separately. And as you are aware, TVA did offer distributors two options with this wholesale rate change, and KUB has selected to go with the seasonal demand energy, or the SDE rate. This graph represents kind of our historical takes and under what we would pay under the old in-use program, which is shown in red, and what we expect to pay under the new SDE rate. Now, obviously, these are based on historical averages, and when we actually get to these months, we will see how that plays out. But our best estimate is that certain months we will pay a little bit more under the SDE rate, and you can see that happening, for example, on the month of August. But also, there will be other months, such as September, where we actually would anticipate paying less under the SDE rate. In total, for the year, it's going to be about the same. We expect to still pay TVA about $400 million on an annual basis. And so the actual change that we have calculated here is actually about 0.2%. Every distributor will have a little bit different result from this, but TVA worked very hard to minimize the impact for all distributors. So what will this wholesale change mean to KUB's rates? Well, one very obvious difference will be when you look at our rate schedules, you will begin to see that we will have seasons on our rate schedules. We currently do not have that. The summer season will be 4 months, beginning the month of June. The winter month, or winter period, will also be 4 months, beginning with the month of December. And then there will be 4 shoulder months that separate those two seasons. So that is what you will begin to see on our proposed rate schedules, is the winter, the summer, and then the shoulder rates. Another thing that might not be quite as obvious on our rate schedules, we will need to reallocate some cost. Again, this will not result in an overall change to our bottom line, but it will just be moving and shifting some cost. On the residential and small commercial customers, we are proposing to increase the customer charge and then to have an offset on their energy charge. You may remember when we spoke last summer, we showed you a graph of customer charges across the valley, and KUB was near the bottom of that graph as compared to all other TVA distributors. We are still in the bottom quartile. So by doing this change, we hope to continue trying to move towards the median within the valley among our peers. Another change will be on the medium and the large commercial customers. In those two categories, we anticipate lowering their demand rate, but then the offset to that would be to increase their energy charge. And this change, is just a direct result of the wholesale rate structure and what we will be paying TVA. And I think that, this change, it will be prevalent across the valley. This will not be something that KUB is the only distributor doing. I would anticipate that almost all, if not all, distributors will do this same thing. Another item that we will be bringing to you, proposing, is that we modify our purchase power adjustment. The PPA was established in 2002 to allow KUB to flow through to our rates any wholesale changes that occurred. However, this change that TVA is proposing is so significant that we believe we need to modify the PPA, and we need to add in some additional guidelines and requirements to strengthen that document. And the most important point on this whole slide, I think, is the last bullet, which this is no additional margin for KUB. It will not change our bottom line, but simply because we're going to pay for our power cost in a different manner now, we need to change to make sure we recover that cost. These are the proposed base rates, and again, the largest customer classes are excluded from this chart, but this is showing what the majority of our customers would experience. I will refer to these as base rates, and that is a key point because these rates do not include any of TVA's fuel cost adjustment. As you know, that amount changes every month, so we wanted to have a base that excluded that, and of course, we will add that back each month as appropriate. I will point out to you, obviously we are showing the summer rate in the first column, the winter rate, and then the shoulder months. So those are the seasons that I was referring to. We also have a column there highlighted in yellow for proposed average. That is just for presentation purposes today. You won't actually see those rates anywhere, but we did want to give that so that you could compare more readily to our current rate, which is a year-round rate. So if we start off with the residential customers, you can see that the proposed summer base rate would be a little over 8.08 cents per kilowatt hour. The winter rate and the shoulder rate are proposed at 8.04, and then the average would come out to 8.055. Now, the reason that the winter and the shoulder rates are the same amount, and you will see that all the way down the chart, at this time, although TVA is establishing those seasons, they are not yet differentiating cost between winter and shoulder, so there's no need for us to differentiate either at this time. But again, the average rate for the residential kilowatt hours, 8.055. Our current rate is 8.217. So this rate, of course, is lower, and you can see the offset is that we would be increasing the customer charge, proposing to do that. Another thing I should probably point out is that as you look at this chart, you will notice that the summer rates are a little bit higher than the winter and shoulder. That also is reflective of how we will be paying TVA. TVA intends to charge a little bit more for the summer period because that's where the costs are greater. That's where the peak demand is for the TVA system. So that is reflected here as well. Moving down to the next two lines, the general service Part 1 customers, or GSA1, these are our smallest commercial customers. This might be a small retail storefront. It could be a beauty salon. In some instances, these customers may actually take less than a residential, but it just so happens that they are a commercial customer. So for these customers, again, very similar to residential, you can see that we would propose that the customer charge increase from $13 to $15. But then when we look at the rate for the kilowatt hours, we would be decreasing from 9.385 cents per kilowatt hour to 9.264 cents. Our next category of customer, the next size up, is the GSA2. This size of customer may incur demand charges, and this could be a school would be an example in this category. Again, this is where we start getting into or we would like to decrease the demand rate, but increase the kilowatt hours. And you can see for this size of customer, they actually have two blocks for their energy. So they're on a block rate system. So we would propose that the first block for their energy remain the same at 9.468 cents per kilowatt hour. But on the second block, so these would be the customers that are using more, their energy rate would increase from 4.826 to 5.471. And then there would, again, be an offset for that in that their demand rate would decrease from 1412 to 1133. On the GSA3 customers, this would tend to be a manufacturer or perhaps a hospital on the commercial side. Very similar. We would propose that their energy rate increase from the 4.923 up to 5.568. And then here they have a block structure on their demand, and both of their demand rates we would propose